I get a cut. I think I'm top 5.
So you know when you go to a show that you barely want to be at, but they're still charging $5 at the door?
Yeah, that sucks.
Well, this is that part of the podcast.
I know. We're going to bum you out hard here, but hopefully we can make up for it.
And the thing is, it doesn't cost you any money.
It doesn't. All you got to do is rate and review on Apple Podcasts.
And just like that show that you barely wanted to be at, you still probably had a good time.
And as a bonus, to make it worth your while, we will drop an extra episode.
It's just like seeing that great band that you didn't know existed.
And those are some of the best.
So thank you.
Thank you.
I get a cut. I think I'm top 5. Top 5.
Top 5 side ones, track ones.
Hey, what's up? Welcome to Top 5.
Hey, Ian. How's it going?
Good, Kenton.
Man, I am stoked today. We have a very special guest.
Ooh.
Who's that?
We have Sunny Faris with us today.
Yes.
She's in an incredible band called Blackwater Holy Light, which some of you may be familiar with, and others you should definitely check out. Sunny, why don't you tell us what we're working with today as our top 5 criteria?
Okay, well, I couldn't remember, honestly. I was like, yeah, like I said earlier, I was like, is it top 5 best metal albums or favorite? But then I was like, it doesn't really matter because that's kind of the same thing. So which one is it? Is it best or favorite?
Your top 5.
It's
top
whatever
5.
you want it to be. And at this point, I think both are kind of interchangeable at this point.
Because I was like making my list and I'm like, I can't really remember, but whatever. It's kind of the same.
Oh,
So
good.
these are the best/favorite top 5 metal albums.
Heavy metal.
Heavy metal, which, okay. Also, yes, changes daily. List changes every day, for sure. Also, it's such an impossible thing to choose. It really is, because it's like, I have like 50 more that I think can also be my top 5. 50? Should we just do top 50?
Top 50 real quick.
Yeah.
Yeah, Ian and I were talking about this, how hard it is, especially using the term heavy metal. What constitutes heavy metal? Things are widely debated.
So many rules.
There are so many rules. Like, some argue that Zeppelin is heavy metal, and maybe they're right, but I wouldn't call them heavy metal. I'd call them a rock band.
Well, some of mine are definitely not like, quote, heavy metal. They're metal as fuck.
All right, metal as fuck. That's good. I have at least one that's not classified as heavy metal per
Because to me,
se.
like, heavy metal, quote, quote, is like all kind of like, yeah, it's like older. I don't know. Yeah, there's so many things that go into.
Well, yeah,
to
I think we're
falls under that umbrella.
totally, and I think Ian and I are probably both going to be on the same earlier side, and sounds like you're going to go.
I'm
going to
be the
modern
odd
on
man
us.
out.
No, that's great. I think it's just because I'm not super well versed in all forms of metal. I have a handful of things that I do love that I grew up around, so that's kind of what I'm pulling from is more kind of classic stuff that I'm
Okay,
really
well, that's
familiar
cool because
with.
I kind of I went the other direction. So
Great, yeah.
we're just
Now
going
we'll know
to
what's
be ping
out there.
ponging, baby.
I try to
Yeah.
play by the rules. Going heavy metal.
Heavy
Okay,
metal.
well,
Ruled out a lot of
Mr.
things.
Good Shoes. Is that what it is?
It's a good
Mr.
choose.
Good Shoes.
All right. Well, since we're talking about metal and not punk, it makes sense that you'd be playing by the rules, you know?
Well, there's rules to punk too, right? Like,
No.
no
There's like
rules.
so many rules in metal that there's no rules. Like nothing matters anymore because there's just so many rules that it's like none of them even make sense or are valid anymore. It's like, whoa.
I think that would depend on what metalhead you talk to.
I know,
'cause-
yes. And they're all very sensitive, so everyone's going to get super offended no matter what.
Yeah, this could be the most controversial episode we've done.
This is going to get
So
me in some trouble.
if you guys have very, very strong opinions about metal, maybe tune out for this one.
I'd say tune in.
Yeah.
Or tune in.
My
just
list it's not only my opinion, but it's accurate. It's right.
Oh, see, and then you have this problem where it's like, no, literally,
is pure, yeah.
this is pure.
All right. Well, I guess we should just jump into it. Do you want to start us off?
Okay, yeah.
with-
So my first pick is probably the most accurate for the quote topic here. But my first pick is Richie Blackmore's Rainbow, 1975. I love this album so much. It's just like such an earworm. I think every track on it, especially as a vocalist, it's one of my favorite albums to sing to, and I go into holes of like it's just on repeat at my house. Like during the last shutdown right before Christmas, I was just at home making my whole family Christmas presents and just blasting Rainbow and listening to it all the time. But yeah, I think Ronnie James Dio just has like one of the best voices ever, and obviously he's in a lot of projects, so is Richie Blackmore. But yeah, it's just a record that's very dear to my heart.
Yeah, that's a
And-
perfect pick, in
Yeah.
my opinion. Yeah.
It's a great hard rock record.
Fucking Rainbow. I'm like, why isn't everyone obsessed with Rainbow?
And I would give Dio credit as being like the American metal god.
Yeah, he kind of is. But then everyone's like, well, Deep Purple's way better than Rainbow. I'm like, well, no, I guess Deep Purple rips, obviously. But there's just something about a lot of his, like, a lot of the guitar solos and a lot of the delivery and tonally on that album that I just think are like really, really cool and influential for a lot of things that came after that. So
yeah, absolutely.
solid. Also Rising. Rising was it Rising? Yeah, that was the one after that.
Yeah.
And that album is sick too, just 'cause that song Stargazer that's like 900 minutes long, but like the fucking best song ever.
Yeah, I love long tracks like that, going back to like Deep Purple, Burn, like that
Oh yeah.
that song's like, I can't remember, like 11 minutes or something, or 8 minutes.
They got long tracks.
So that's my first.
Great pick.
Thank you.
That's
Rainbow.
a very good first pick.
Rainbow, y'all.
Ian, what
Uh,
do you got?
My number 5, Merciful Fate
Ooh.
from Denmark, 1983.
Set going the second album, huh?
Melissa is the first one.
Oh,
Yeah.
fuck. Oath is the second?
Yeah.
Damn. That was probably my favorite. I thought it was the first one, but
Oath is
They're,
two.
they're both
Wait,
great. Yeah.
Wait, right?
Don't
Yeah.
Break the Oath
Okay.
is-
Yeah.
84, second record. Yeah.
fuck. Yeah.
Awesome riffs. Actually, my favorite part about Merciful Fate is that they were the Brats. Before, I mean, not the whole band, but the two guitar players. Because
Did King Diamond play guitar in that?
King Diamond, he came on as the second or third set after 1980. He was not on their LP, but he did join the band before they changed the name to Merciful Fate, and then went through a bunch of lineup changes. The only two members that were both on 1980 and Melissa are the guitar players, Hank Sherman, Hank DeWank,
Hank DeWank.
and
What a name.
Michael Denner. But some of the songs for Melissa they already had written as the Brats, and that record definitely not a heavy metal record. Or not.
The Brats, I've never listened to them.
Oh, I recommend it.
Okay.
It's too punk to be called a
Yeah.
heavy metal record.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's definitely. I would not call the Brats a heavy metal
Yeah,
group at all, but
I mean, but the vocals are the biggest.
Yeah, I'm not really like a
change.
punk lady most of the time, so well, I'll try it. Check it
We're,
out.
we're talking heavy metal today,
Yeah,
so
yeah.
that's just fine. Merciful Fate was also on the PMRC's Filthy 15 when they brought on the parental advisory
oh,
thing, the song Into the Coven,
damn,
referencing
dude,
the occult. I think that was
Corrupting the youth.
outrageous.
Yeah, corrupting the youth for sure.
look at us.
We're fucked.
We're so fucked. My God.
Oh, yeah, that's a good choice.
Yeah, great
yeah,
record.
Seriously.
Um,
In fact, we were actually talking about Merciful Fate not too long ago, so that was actually on my honorable mention. So I'm glad you threw it
Ooh.
on your actual top.
Yeah.
Sweet.
What you got?
So this one, technically probably not heavy metal, but it, as far as I'm concerned, it puts the heavy into metal. But that's Sleep's Holy Mountain.
Oh, going that direction.
I'm going that direction
Getting
on this
fucking
one.
stoned out.
Sure. I mean, if Sabbath can be considered heavy metal, I mean,
Well,
there
for
might as well be
sure.
stoner rock too. Fuck it.
Yeah.
So, discovering that record as a teenager, it was really unlike all the stuff I was really into at the time, which
Yeah.
was predominantly like punk, hardcore, thrash. So
I
this is
really
a
feel like
completely-
there is such a nostalgia listening to anything from Sleep, but also, yeah, I think that like just that feeling that everyone kind of discovers when you hear stoner or like, you know, stoner doomstoner, whatever you want to call it, kind of for the first time, you're just like, oh my God. Yeah, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah, because it's like it's like a level of easy
it's a
listening.
quintessential
almost.
moment. Yeah.
It is. It's still pretty.
But it truly just does make you want to get like ripped off your ass and listen to it, you know? It's like,
I have.
I get that vibe. Yeah.
Got the name for a reason.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, their second album, Dope Smoker. I don't
Pretty legendary.
prefer it to their Holy Mountain
Holy
album.
Mountain.
though.
It's,
Yeah.
it's just one song, is that right?
Yeah,
Pretty
it's like
much,
what, an
yeah.
hour?
Yeah.
How do you do that on vinyl?
I don't know.
How do you do that on vinyl?
Intermission?
Because, yeah, I mean, you really, I don't know, like, yeah, because you're really supposed to have like 40 minutes. I mean, you obviously have to flip it, but then, yeah, you kind of lose some sound quality after 40 minutes, but I'm sure there's tricks. I don't really know.
I've also never listened to a vinyl version of it, so I actually don't know the transition
I have
from
it on
the
vinyl.
the
I don't
A-side
really
to the
know where
B-side.
it starts. I can't
Too stoned to
remember. But
remember every
yeah,
time
I'm
I
just
listen
like too high all the time. I can't even.
Well, good thing
fucking
we're not
remember.
talking about that record. Holy Mountain, I think it's a flawless record. And
Yeah.
I put it at number 5 because I know it doesn't quite fit the parameter of what we're talking today, but then fuck it, no rules, you know?
Yeah,
We
I think
just-
our parameter has turned into no parameter.
Yeah, dude. I mean, rules are for squares.
Yeah, fuck rules.
And I don't see a lot of squares in this room right now.
Nope. Not at all.
Well, let's move on back to you, Sonny. What do you got as number
Okay.
4?
So, yeah, so I didn't have like an order. So I think I'm just going to choose my 4th album, which is a record that has been really influential to me personally in our band. Not like that we're trying to emulate any of their sounds, but just an album that we listen together a lot on tour is Sulphur English by Inter Arma. Do you guys know this band?
I don't know.
Inter Arma, they're 6, so they're from Richmond, Virginia, 5-piece, and Sulphur English came out 2019 on Relapse Records. So yeah, it's one of they've since put out another album that was like all covers, which is pretty tight.
What kind of covers are
But
they doing on it?
They covered like Purple Rain, and which is like a really metal version of Purple Rain, which is awesome.
I love it when bands do that.
Yeah.
Do their own take on something.
Yeah.
I feel like if you're not adding something new to a cover, maybe don't do it.
Yeah, Neil Young they did, and like there's a bunch on there. You guys should check it out. But yeah, so the drummer of this band, this guy TJ Childers, I think he's the person that primarily comes up with all of their arrangements, but they're just like a bunch of styles kind of in one, like doom and pretty sludgy. Some people have said hard psych, which I appreciate because I think that like hard psych and heavy psych is a genre that I can kind of connect with a bit. But yeah, the vocalist, this guy Mike, he has just like a really dense range. Vocally, he does like kind of like really dark roars, and then he has like kind of like higher shrieking vocals too. So he's just really dynamic vocally, and they just have some of the sickest fucking riffs. And you guys should Inter
Fuck
Arma.
yeah, dude. I mean, we're all about the riffs.
Inter Arma, very sick band.
Cool.
Yes.
Brad, we'll have to check that out. I will have to check that out
Mm-hmm.
personally.
Damn, we should have made a playlist. Well, we should do it
actually,
after.
we-
we
follow,
do.
yeah.
Yeah, we have. There are corresponding playlists on Spotify
Okay, good.
for
So
each
that
episode. So we'll throw something on there. You can give us a
oh,
pick.
it's going to be such a tasty playlist. Okay, good.
Good, yes. I think sometimes we have the trouble of talking about stuff that isn't actually hosted on Spotify a lot of the time, but this one I think it's probably going to lend
Everything
itself to be on there. So
Yeah, my list, everything's on Spotify for sure.
perfect. Okay, then yeah,
Because I'm
check
just
out this
so
playlist.
basic
It's
like
gonna be
that.
so
Yeah.
epic.
Cool.
Ian, what do you have, man?
So for my number 4 pick, I have a band who, according to them, are too punk to be heavy metal.
Okay.
But to me, it's a heavy metal record directly associated with the new wave of British heavy metal scene.
Oh, what's he going to say?
Girl School,
Oh.
Hit and Run. Their
Sick.
second album, which I like more than the first one. To me, it's definitely a heavy metal record.
Yeah, good pick.
And it's fun. They're they're good. And
Have you
every
seen them
song-
before?
I haven't, but they
They
are.
played here like 3 years ago.
I know.
Really? Where?
I
Yeah.
missed it for a
Somewhere
reason.
downtown. It was like at a hall. I gave Trace from Voodoo Donuts a ride to the show. He was super pumped.
Nice.
How nice.
They are the longest running all female rock band in the world
Yeah.
at 43 years
Holy
Yeah.
shit! I had
this
no
year.
idea.
Yeah.
Yep. So sick.
Yeah.
Oh, I love that you picked that.
Yeah. And like Motorhead, not heavy metal, but Girl School, I'm going to call heavy metal.
Okay. Respect.
I'll take it. Yeah.
Yeah. Hit and Run was produced by Vic Mail, who also was responsible for The Who, Live at Leeds, did Motorhead, Ace of Spades, as well as Eddie and the Hot Rods and 999.
Damn, all over the place.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Fuck yeah, Girl School.
Every track.
So solid.
It's-
Definitely
it's just
some
a great
anthems.
record. Yeah. Yeah. My favorite one probably being Yeah, Right.
Yeah.
Especially with the mom voice, like, and
Yeah.
don't drink too much. Yeah, right.
Yeah, you're like,
So
you're
good.
bullshit.
So good.
Fuck, that's
Amazing.
good.
Yeah. Not the most heavy metal song on the record, but it's
That's
a heavy
good.
metal
I
record.
mean, yeah, diverse.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, yeah. I don't think that any of the rest of my picks are, quote, heavy metal, so
Cool.
whatever.
Well, I think there's no arguing how heavy metal my next pick is.
Ooh.
What's that?
All right, this to me is what I basically use to define heavy metal, this album, because it's really, when I was younger, I didn't listen to a lot of heavy metal, and I kind of got into heavy metal as a novelty in my late teens and early 20s, being more into punk and hardcore at the time. But I got a copy of this record. I got a pile of records that were given to me, and this was one of them, and it was Judas Priest, Screaming for Vengeance.
There it is.
Hell
I was
yeah.
waiting for Priest.
Yeah. Priest has a bunch of great records, but to me, I think this is like, at the time, was their most commercially successful. I think had their big hit was Got Another Thing Coming, that came off of that. But I'm a big fan of all the slower kind of tracks that are on it, like Chains. Like, fucking love that
Sure.
song. I mean, Bloodstone, Electric Eye.
Yo.
That's my cut on that.
Yeah, it's a good one.
Oh my god. Yeah, even Fever is like not the strongest song on the album, but it's fucking great. And it's not super common to have the title track song be one of the strongest songs on the album, but I feel like this is like Screaming for Vengeance off of Screaming for Vengeance. It's like every time I start my motorcycle, I wish I had like a corny fucking like
Yes.
it would just start playing that song out of speakers somewhere just when I
You
start
should
up.
get one of those horns.
That's what
plays
I'm
a
thinking
song.
about
Yeah.
doing. I might wire
Be
one
one of
in
those
just to do it.
yeah.
Just I'm not afraid to look stupid.
To feel your
Oh, you look
dreams.
fucking badass.
Yeah.
That's what I mean. I'm not afraid to look badass. But yeah, I absolutely love Priest, and
Good pick.
I love this album, and I think for me, I think it's very iconic of heavy metal.
Oh, for
was-
sure.
Also, the first Priest I heard had a burnt CD from Travis Collins. And
Yes, that's so
think
classic. The
freshman year.
burn. When your friends burn you a CD, you're just like,
Yeah, that's one step above making tapes off the radio, which I did for a while, but I wasn't
Yeah.
recording metal. That's for sure.
yeah, yeah. I made some of those tapes. It was like Whitney Houston and Ace of Base, but
Just hoping you get that one
could
song.
argue that's heavy metal, I guess.
yeah, that's metal too. No,
The heavy metal argument is ongoing, so yeah.
oh yeah, it's
But-
endless.
Yeah. So that's me.
Sick. Okay, so moving on to number 3 for me is some good buddies of ours that we got to tour with 2 years ago. Band called Thou.
Oh yeah, that was great.
Yeah,
What's the album?
yeah, they're amazing. Magus, I think is how you pronounce it.
I'll accept either
Like-
one because I don't know which one's right.
Yeah, I don't either. But yeah, 2018 they put it out on a label called Sacred Bones. But it's hard because with Thou, their entire catalog is just like amazing to me. I love this band so much. I love them as people. I love the music that they create together. And it's also hard because some of their records on vinyl is just like a compilation of a bunch of splits that they've done with different bands. Like they've done a fuckload of splits and collaborations and have just like pumped out records like no one else. Have you ever heard this band?
They have a split with Cower, don't they?
Yeah, they do, and it's
I have that
sick.
record. That's
so
great.
that I mean, like that was really early on too for them. But yeah, they've just like put out so much music, it's fucking insane. But yeah, just crushing, like deeply heavy fucking band. Brian, the vocalist, is amazing. And his voice is really interesting too because it just pairs well with like any type of vocals, which is why they've gotten, in my opinion, why they've really gotten away with doing so many collabs, because his voice just works with like everyone. And then obviously instrumentally, you know, you can always kind of make that work. Like if the vibe is right and the energy is right and you're working with people that you can like be like really creatively flowing with. But this album, I think they say that it's dedicated to your ego. It's dedicated to the sacred ego. So it's just like really personal and like really, I think it's easy once you kind of like read up on the lyrics and stuff. It's easy to
When did this album come out?
2018.
Okay, just a couple years.
But yeah,
ago then.
I just fucking love this band. Everything they put out. It's like, I did my Spotify like review, like end of the year review thing, and it was like your top band was Thou, and then it was like also Thou, and like damn, you really listened to this band a fuckload.
Holy shit, son!
Yeah,
You love that.
like you really clocked in some hours with this fucking band.
I love that. I have a similar Spotify thing where at the end of the year where you look at it and you're like, oh fuck, how did I listen to a 30-minute record, you know, for 13 and a half hours or something?
Yeah,
this
my
year?
little breakdown is just like, yeah, it was like Thou, and then just like the most random crap. I'm like, God, this really makes no sense. But it's kind of cool because I'm like, well, I'm like, it's mostly Ace of Base, Whitney Houston. Like, man, my brain really goes a lot of different directions musically, which I appreciate about myself. But I'm like, it's funny when you kind of look at all that stuff. You're like, wow.
Totally. I mean, I feel like musically diverse people kind of have like a better, more interested in what people who listen to more than just one specific genre have to say about music because of that.
Totally.
Like I have a few friends that I always look to what playlists they make because it's stuff that I wouldn't find by myself. But since I just inherently trust their judgment, I discover new stuff all the time through other people.
Yeah, it's the best. It's fun. But yeah, Thou, you guys, you need to listen to this band. Like 20 hours at least.
Minimum
20 hours.
Yeah, but if it sounds like you're on the Malcolm Gladwell side of things, you got to put your 10,000 hours in before becoming an expert on Thou. So you're
yes, I probably
well on your way.
Yeah. Especially being on tour with them. We toured with them in Florida, and it was like the funniest tour ever because it's just like this heavy as fuck band and then us, and we're like late for every sound check because we just would like go to the beach and we're like eating popsicles in the sand, like walked around in flip-flops. Then we get to the show and it's just like you know, but yeah, it was probably the funnest tour I've ever been on for sure.
Yeah, it sounds like you know exactly how you should be touring.
Yeah, I'm like I want it just to be summertime, sunglasses, and then once the show comes around, just get fucking destroyed.
Yes.
It's perfect.
That's awesome.
Okay, next.
Take it away.
More Priest.
Okay.
Oh,
Undisputed Metal Gods.
it's true.
No question.
I knew there was going to be some crossover. Of course, it's Priest.
But I got Sin After Sin.
Okay.
Third record, 1977.
Good one.
The first three tracks, just relentless. Got the Joan Baez. Is that
Yeah,
his name?
Joan Baez.
Joan Baez cover, Diamonds in the Rust.
I love that cover.
It's so good.
It's so good.
It works so well.
Yeah.
Talk about a worthwhile cover. Like, really making it their own.
Yeah, like we talked about it.
Yeah.
If you can't make it your own, don't do it.
And the first track, Sinner. Also, I think the first use of like the double bass with the 16th note guitars,
oof.
you know, which became such a defining metal thing.
Oh, absolutely.
They did it first. Just bringing on a studio
Wait, is
drummer.
that true?
I'm saying it's true.
And let me tell you, when we say something on this podcast, it is almost
Fact.
always true.
I mean,
When we
I'm-
say it, it's almost always true when we
It
say
is
it.
I'm not
Right.
saying the first use of double bass ever. Deep
Well,
Purple
yeah.
did it.
Yeah,
um,
yeah.
For just one song, they would like bring out a second bass drum just for
Oh,
that
for
one
real?
song. Yeah.
What a bitch.
But specifically the 16th notes on the double bass with
Yeah.
the 16th notes on guitar, just driving together.
yes.
They're
this
the
is
best.
this
Ooh,
is
I
the first
love
album
it.
that did that.
A
Holy
nice
shit.
purr. Just a soft purr.
Yeah.
That's what they're making.
And it's also got Rob Halford's coming out song.
Yeah.
He didn't actually come out for another 21 years, but the song Raw Deal is just so blatantly
About getting fucked in the
a
ass.
homosexual anthem. And
Isn't it?
A gay.
Is it not just get... I feel like it's about getting fucked in the ass.
Well, he talks about
It's a raw
going
deal.
he just says raw deal once at the end of the song, but he's painting a picture of going to a gay bar, Fire Island, New York, and leather guys, denim dudes, heavy bodies, sex like a hurricane.
Sounds fucking great.
he was probably there with Phil and not.
Yeah,
Yeah, they were kind of rumored to be a thing.
Oh,
I don't know that he had actually ever been to New York when he wrote the song. The first time they toured the U.S. was with their second record.
Oh, yeah,
I mean,
that's
maybe he
true.
just took a trip, but
Also
or
true.
no, not their second record, the record following Sin After Sin.
Sure, but it's also like it's not uncommon for people outside of America to write stuff specific for American audience. That's why they'll use miles instead of kilometers in almost every other
Sure.
song.
Oh my God, I've never thought about that.
Yeah, it's specifically to identify with.
Also, kilometers is kind of a little bit tougher of a word to get
Doesn't
through
sound as
lyrically.
good,
Yeah.
Easy.
But
kill it.
everywhere else in the world uses it, so like it
Yeah.
would be a little more universal. But even like stuff like Thin Lizzy, they write about places they'd never been in America, or
Sure.
like the cowboy song. It's like,
Mhm.
yeah, Ireland has a lot of cows. I've been there. I've seen them. A lot more sheep too.
They out
but
there.
I don't think the cowboy song is really. I don't know about the rodeo scene that was going on in Ireland at the time.
Well,
that
it's
they were
funny.
writing that.
Going back to my number 5 pick, Merciful Fate's record, their label was pushing them to sing in Danish and to try to appeal to specifically a Danish audience, and they were like, "Fuck that, we're not doing that. I'm singing in English.
Yeah,
We're gonna."
big time.
Yeah. So they made that call for themselves.
Fuck yeah.
But back to Sin After Sin, specifically Raw Deal. Not just is he blatantly talking about being a homosexual, but is advocating for rights. He says
Yeah, that's so cool.
the true free expression I demand is human rights. And then at the end, like anywhere you look, there's no lyrics in the liner notes on the record. Anywhere you look it up, the big chant at the end is "I'm going, no loss." But I just watched an interview with him just from last year where he says he's actually saying, "Love knoweth no laws."
Oh.
So-
That's so sweet.
Yeah, he's such a sweet guy. He's
Yeah.
really, really amazing.
It's true.
Yeah.
Also true. So many
Big fan.
facts that are just getting crushed.
Yeah, and it's so sad that he was so intimidated or scared to be who he is
Well, of course, but
because of the world, because of the music
Yeah.
industry, because of metalheads.
And also,
Yeah.
coming from England too, where being a homosexual had only been legal for a few years. I mean, it was illegal
What,
to be gay up until I think the early 1970s.
God, it's just like so recent.
when was it
It's
legal here?
Crazy.
I think
when did
it's
it become-
always. I don't think you could ever be put to jail for being a homosexual.
He was put in jail for soliciting a undercover cop
Yeah.
in a bathroom.
Well, soliciting sex is an offense in itself.
but that
It's
wasn't
not
happening to straight
actually-
people. I mean,
It does happen to straight people.
who?
Well, not me. I'm not out soliciting for sex, but I mean,
What have
people
you
who
been
have
doing?
who have gotten
But like
busted.
the George Michaels, the whole deal. Like,
Yeah.
he was talking about it. He was like, "Yeah, the cops are really cool. They didn't tell anyone." It's like, dude, you essentially got arrested for being gay. How are you calling these cops cool? But he has such a good attitude.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think
All he did was make eye contact, and give a wink or whatever. It's like
Sure, but
there
I
was
feel,
no act.
Yeah, that's fucked up.
That would not happen to a straight person.
No, it wouldn't.
I think, yes, gay people have been getting a raw deal for a very long time. But I don't think it was ever as prevalent here as it was in England. People like Oscar Wilde's being, imprisoned for being homosexual.
Mhm.
I guess ultimately what I'm getting at is that so many people were persecuted or imprisoned for being homosexual in England up until very, very recently. That's
Yeah,
why
it's just crazy. It seems like that was not a long time ago.
no,
all.
and it makes sense why you'd like coming from that culture specifically, or that country, like people like Freddie Mercury and Rob Halford, and even though it's Ireland, but I mean Phil Lynott was kind of also rumored to have been, or So,
Mhm.
anyways, but it wasn't. People weren't really open about it
Mm-hmm.
until later on when it felt safer to them. So,
Yeah.
but yeah, I mean Halford specifically, I think it makes complete sense looking back retrospectively, but no one at the time was like, "What? This guy's such badass." How, like, it's like, yeah, he still is a badass.
Yeah.
Like,
Mm-hmm.
Well, it wasn't until '98 that he
Yeah.
actually, I mean, which,
God, which is insane.
yeah,
Like
I
that
mean,
was like 2 years ago.
straight up, I was alive.
Yeah. Straight up, I was alive. Yeah. Same. God. Terrible.
yeah,
But yeah,
well,
that's a good pick.
well,
Solid.
yeah, I'm glad he
Solid choice.
finally came out.
me too,
And
man.
even though he really did it in '77, all you have to do is read these lyrics. I can't believe that
Yeah.
anyone, or maybe they did know.
Well,
I
I have a
just didn't-
question for you. Do you guys listen to metal lyrics? Is that when you listen to metal specifically?
I try to listen to just lyrics in general.
Some people aren't like that. I listen
Mm-hmm.
to lyrics myself, but some people really, that's the last thing people pay attention to.
Mainly because I like singing along to stuff.
I definitely sing the wrong words along
Also that,
to metal,
constantly,
especially. Like
constantly.
I feel like in a lot of metal, the more important than what they're saying is how they're saying it.
Mm-hmm.
Or I can't say if that's more important to them, but that's just how.
Yeah,
it
I feel
comes
like I
off to
try
me.
and like look up lyrics. Not often,
And they're
but
so often wrong. Like,
Yeah.
that's the shame.
That's
Yeah.
one thing I hope to do in the future, actually, is an episode on top 5 favorite lyrics that are wrong.
Ooh, that's
I have
good.
one. I always thought
We'll
from
save it.
Screaming for Vengeance.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I always thought it was a burn-in on the rag.
Oh,
oh my god, that's so
Sweet.
good.
Yeah. What is he actually? I can't even picture what he actually said.
I don't know. I'm like, that sounds right to me.
yeah, you do these burn on the rag.
Yeah.
That would be a good topic for an episode, though, for sure. 'Cause someone's gonna be like, "Wait, but
Well,
what?"
'cause sometimes the lyrics are better in your fake version of the song that you think they're saying, and then you find out the actual lyrics, like, oh, damn, I don't think that's as tough as my fake version that
Right.
I've been singing for the better part of a decade.
I know you can like kind of write yourself some good lyrics, maybe just by singing shit wrong.
Yeah. Creating art.
Yeah, yeah, man. I'm just making art here. Okay,
Riding on the wind.
There it is.
there it is.
Oh,
That's the lyric.
riding on the sad winds of destiny. Just
Wow.
kidding. That's,
Wow. Beautiful.
I guess we're at my number 3.
Yes.
Okay. So my number 3, little band from Germany called Scorpions. The album
Oh, a
is...
little band called Scorpions.
Yeah, their
Scorps.
album In Trance from 1975, their
Good
third
pick.
record. To me, I think I love the first 2 records, Lonesome Crow and Flight of the Rainbow. But this one, to me, I feel like they are getting into their more iconic sound. I think it's just a great transition record, again, with the title track being like maybe the strongest song on the album.
So good.
It's a banger. And
Is it heavy metal? That's
it's fucking heavy, man.
Okay, well, none of my picks are even heavy metal anymore,
Sure,
so who
sure,
cares?
yeah.
Sure.
But with Scorpions, I mean, I think they have more heavy metal
Oh,
sounding records
for
than this.
sure.
Those first 3 are my favorite Scorpions records. But
Yeah, I mean, Taken by Force, also really good.
yes,
Yeah, so
Virgin
good.
Killer, like I think that's their first one where they're actually getting noticed outside of Europe. I feel like Scorpions, people who listen to them know the importance of them. It's kind of blows my mind that they started in 1965. Like that's pretty early. Obviously, I'm sure what they were playing in 1965 before they recorded sounds nothing like the stuff they actually put out later on.
Well,
but,
that first record is very, very late 60s sounding.
yeah,
Yeah,
definitely more in the rock world.
Almost the psychedelic even, like.
Yeah, I would say so. Well, yeah.
Yeah.
Sure.
It's trippy.
It's trippy. Yeah, they do have trippy moments.
But yeah, man, the Scorps, we couldn't be talking metal or heavy metal without bringing up the Scorpions.
Also, just some fashion influencers for sure.
Oh, yeah. They
had the outfits.
They had the long hair.
They had it
the
all
full
happening.
scumbag thing going on.
Yeah.
They really epitomized that.
Yes.
And I do love all their mid-era stuff. Love It First Sting, Love Drive, Blackout. In fact, Animal Magnetism. Like, I love all the mid-era Scorpion shit, but I also really, really like their early stuff as well.
The foundation.
Yeah, so I feel like they have from the first 12 years of them being a band, I feel like all those records are great, and I'd listen to any of them. They kind of lose me after that. After like 1984, I'm not really as huge into it, but
I'm fully checked out by then.
Fully.
Yeah.
Wow.
But yeah, so anyways, Scorpions, I absolutely love them, and that album In Trance is like
it's a phenomenal record.
top 5.
Yeah.
It's top 5 forever. Daily top 5.
Top 5 all time.
All time top 5. Wow. That's saying something. Hell yeah.
Yeah. What do you got for
Okay,
number 2 now?
Okay, yeah. Now we're on number 2. So, also not heavy metal, but metal. Which is a genre, metal. Mizmor, who is a local band, this guy, Liam Neighbors, who actually worked with us on our last record, but he put an album out 2018 on it's Gilead Media, called Yod, and God, it's just like such a fucking crushingly beautiful album. It's basically blackened doom metal, and yeah, it's just really cool. It has like these really intense doom parts that lead into like really crazy like black metal riffs, and then his vocals are just like so unique because he does these really crazy screeches. I can't remember the technical term for it, when you're like inhaling instead of screaming outwards. It's like kind of like when you're making like pterodactyl
Can you try to
sounds.
make the noise?
No, because I can't do it, and it would
I can't
probably
even
sound
picture it.
crazy. But have you guys heard of this band? Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
yeah, pretty much that. But yeah, Mizmor also has a side project from Salem called Hell, which is one of my favorite bands, just like in general. But yeah, I think he's put out maybe 4 or 5 albums, and all of them, they just are all so personal, and like he's really open about like lyrically where everything he's coming from, and his like whole musical journey is it's just really beautiful and connected to his whole path on life. And so it's cool to read about it because it just makes you feel like it's just really pure and really, really honest.
Sure, making like
music.
Personal music versus
Yeah.
trying to make hit songs.
Yeah,
for people
like
to
he's
listen
just
to.
making what he's making because it's like true to him. And yeah, one of like the best bands that one of my favorite live shows that I've seen for sure.
I think
But,
a
yeah.
lot of metal lacks that personal aspect.
Mhm. Yeah, like he's not just like singing about like
The devil.
like
Evil
The
yeah
devil.
like doing that and like rainbows and like fucking whatever. Like yeah, he's like this
Rainbows
is
are so evil.
they're so evil, man. You know, like dragons, like I'm gonna conquer the fucking wizard dragon whatever on the
Yeah,
hill.
going like talking about just
Like-
going to Mordor.
Yeah. Yeah. But yeah, so they're Portland people. Really amazing. One of their members recently moved to Texas actually. But yeah, Mizmor /Hell. side project. Equally as important.
Cool.
Yes. Check it out.
I will.
Yeah, so good.
Awesome.
What's your number 2?
My number 2, Iron Maiden.
Ooh.
I've heard of
Killers.
them. Killers.
Killers.
Who?
Definitely my favorite Maiden record. I think any of their records would be considered heavy metal.
Yeah,
Although
for sure.
I'm
That's
pretty
before
sure.
Bruce Dickinson, yeah?
Yeah, it's the
Yeah.
last
Mhm.
Paul Di'Anno. To me, it's the best of all Maiden worlds. They still got Clive Burr on drums, whose drums are just so hooky, so
Fucked dumb
fun
good. Yeah.
to like play air drums. You know, like the shit gets stuck in your head.
Yeah.
His little nuances. And the first one with Adrian Smith, who is still in the band. And first one, I forget the producer's name, but they had the same producer from Killers all the way until Fear of the Dark. So it's
Yeah,
like
I think
the,
that's so cool.
like the Maiden sound.
Yeah.
You know, even
Yeah.
though it was pre Bruce Dickinson, I prefer Paul Di'Anno. The first two are my favorite 2 Maiden records. Little more punk, raw, whatever.
Would we call that a hot take or no? Do you think people are going to be upset?
Oh, I think most like diehard Maiden fans would disagree, but
But then again, the most diehard might totally agree. you know?
Exactly.
sure.
No
I-
rules. No rules.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, I'd like to see a battle between fans.
Also, anyone who gets kicked out of a band
God, that's,
for
like, just
drinking
so
and doing
impossible.
too much coke is usually a badass.
That's so metal. Yeah.
Like honestly, like because if you were gonna put up with someone who has those issues and is like fucking up that much and still have them in the band for any period of time, they probably have something to offer musically.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because otherwise, it's just like, no, get this guy out of here. Like,
Yeah. You need some kind of level of psychosis there to make it
Yeah.
acceptable.
I think Paul Di'Anno's amazing.
Oh, for sure.
Well, I heard the story about when Bruce Dickinson first came in to audition to be in the band, and the manager said, "Well, what's your name?" And he was going by Bruce, and he said, "That's
Yeah.
a stupid fucking
Yeah,
name."
Bruce.
Samson, yeah.
Yeah, it's like, here's 50 quid, buy yourself a leather jacket.
I mean, he's,
Really?
Yeah.
he's such a
Oh my
nerd compared to
God.
Paul Di'Anno. Like, and you know, I'll take a badass as a fan. I'll take a badass drug addict over a nerdy professional.
Wow.
Yeah, it's funny because for me, I've never been a Maiden fan. Not that I don't actively dislike them. It just none of it caught me. So like
Yeah.
a lot of people always like it's like fighting words every time. It's like, well, you like Maiden, right? I'm like, no, I never really got into them, and it's just people. It's like, but you like.
I'm
Priest
kinda
and
with you,
Scorpions,
honestly.
But
I don't honestly. I don't get it, man.
I mean, I think Iron Maiden is amazing. Like, obviously, like, duh. They're
Duh.
like
Duh.
they're insane. But I do know what you mean. Like they definitely have a lot of moments where I'm like, this isn't really like doing much for me.
and the fans.
The only thing I can say about like comparing them to Judas Priest or Scorpions, I feel like they're a little less cheesy somehow. Like that's
I feel like they're almost more cheesy
I do
because they
too.
have the aesthetic.
I
They
do
have,
too.
They have Eddie. They've got the monster. It's like what kids gravitate towards. Like
Yeah.
they have the aesthetic.
but that I mean you don't listen to the records and that's not Eddie.
That's Eddie. To a child, that's Eddie.
Is it Eddie or is it not?
Yeah, I don't know. I think
Also, of those 3 bands, I've seen them all live, and they were hands down the
Oh,
best.
cool.
of the
Maiden
3.
was.
Absolutely.
Oh, I'm sure that's true.
Yeah.
Like that makes sense. I mean, obviously, an incredibly talented group of people. Like, there's no getting around that. But
And it's so much energy still, you know, which is crazy. 'Cause
God,
they're
can you imagine
all
doing
so
that
fucking old.
all night, every night, forever?
Were
Yeah.
they playing with cordless stuff? They
had their
guitar player, like
headsets.
over here, and
Yeah,
then
no
guy
way,
across
man.
the stage, and he's over here.
Yeah, they
That's
were doing that.
All right,
Yeah,
cool. They're
great.
getting a workout.
Yeah. Yeah.
Get their aerobics in.
That's perfect.
Yeah, I mean, sweet record.
That's a good pick.
I've heard it, not enough to comment on it, but I would say a lot of
Murders
people
in the
would be
Rue
with you.
Morgue, maybe my favorite Iron Maiden song. But for me, it's just one of those albums where every song, I'm just, as soon as one ends, I can't wait for the next one to start.
Okay,
just
cool.
all the way through.
That's
Uh,
cool.
I love it.
I like
really
that.
love it.
I'll have to give it a revisit
Please do.
since I mean it plays so highly on your top
We'll
5.
circle back.
I must.
Yes. Cool.
What you got?
I got
What Wait, oh yeah, this is number 2
This is
for
number
you.
2 for
Okay.
me.
Wow.
This record, I don't know. I love it. Originally, when I came up with this list, it was lower in the list, but the more I thought about it, I had to bump it up further and further. But Lightning to the Nations by Diamond Head.
Hell yeah.
Oh.
That record, 1980, is so good. And
I don't know this one. I don't know this one.
Oh,
I'm
man.
sure you know songs off of it.
You definitely do. Metallica made them were really into them and covered them. So most people.
Am I Evil? Do you know?
Oh, that's that. Really?
That's Diamond Head. Yeah.
Ah.
That record's really, really cool. And they were young when they did it. They're from England.
Of course,
and they were
Metallica didn't write one of their biggest hits. Those fuckers. Like, duh.
Hey, man, they took it to the top.
Yeah.
Yeah, they were like at the time they were not a popular band. No one knew of them at the time, really. They were plagued with all sorts of bad management, which was due to the fact that the singer's mother and boyfriend started managing them and were holding out for
Oh,
these
that's not a good move.
No, it wasn't, because they were holding out for these bigger record deals and they were just unrealistic in what they got. So when they originally released the record, it came out with a blank sleeve. And no track titles, no song listing, and
What?
they only did like 1,000 of them or something. And yeah,
Oh
they
man,
were
I
just-
wonder how much those fucking vinyls are worth now. Like,
I should have looked it up. I don't actually know, but
probably crazy.
eventually it did get issued. They eventually got a record deal, and they had a follow-up album. They actually got a 5-album deal a few years later, but their second album, it doesn't rip as hard as the first one. And they have 2 songs. They have Am I Evil and Lightning to the Nations that came up on their second record, which is kind of a weak move, but I guess at the time it's like take your strong songs to an actual release that you're getting,
Mhm.
whereas obviously the first album didn't have a lot of success out the gate. But that record is so good. To me, it's another where the title track and name of the album are so strong songs, but there's so many strong songs
Yeah,
on
you
that
could
album.
pick
I couldn't
any-
say that it was my favorite, but
any song off that record could be someone's favorite, a respectable pick for a favorite.
yeah, it just
It's solid.
it gets me
Ooh, I
going
need
every
to
time
listen.
I listen to
need
it.
to listen to this.
Oh, as far as like a
Your
classic
girl
metal
don't
record,
know.
you must.
Okay. I'll get learned
Yes.
up on it.
It's a little bit raw for heavy metal, as a lot of the new wave of British heavy metal is.
But I
which
like that-
to its credit, I think.
Mhm.
Absolutely, and it's a precursor to thrash metal. Stuff like I don't think Metallica and like Slayer and Anthrax, none of those bands really got going until 81.
Yep.
So
Yeah.
this predates that, but was hugely influential on that scene. So
Cool.
I feel like it's definitely worth talking about, and that's why I had to slide it in my number 2 spot. It slowly worked its way up my
Yeah.
list as far as I thought was important metal albums.
Cool.
Kevin Purcell once told me a story of trying to sleep in the back of a van while that record was playing, and how those vocals just were the most irritating thing in the world while he's trying to sleep. And I've actually never listened to the record the same since. I
'Cause now you
always
just
think
have
about
that
that
image in your head.
I still think it's amazing. I
Every
love
time
it.
you listen to it, you
Every
try to
time
think about,
I picture
am I
trying to
sleepy?
sleep while,
Am I
while listening to
sleepy?
it.
Yeah.
But I mean, I don't think that's the time to listen to metal. But
That's so good.
Oh man, yeah,
throw me a beer.
sure.
Beer me.
Sonny, what do you got?
Okay, so drum roll, please.
Da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da.
Okay, my number 1 album, which I just felt like I had to include, Emperor in the Night Side Eclipse, 1994, off Candlelight Records. Emperor to me is just like, for sure, one of the most influential black metal bands. Fucking crazy, burning down churches and shit. They're a pretty controversial band, because of all of that,
Because
and
of the church burning.
because of the church burning and like alleged murder. Who's counting?
Those crazy black metal.
Those
people.
crazy kooks.
What mayhem, They
Yeah.
were wreaking.
But yeah, I love this band. I actually haven't listened to them for very long. One of my friends showed them to me within like the last year, and it was like he was like, "How the fuck have you never heard this band before?" And I was like, "I don't know."
Well, probably because
But-
there's so much metal out there. Like how
Because it's literally endless.
it really is. You can go. The rabbit hole is deep.
It's
and you
amazing.
Can dive
It
as deep
really
as you
is
want.
incredible and like beautiful and amazing. I love it. But it's kind of like what makes this kind of stuff hard because it's just like, how do you pick when it's like, there's just everything. But
And like you said,
Yeah.
I mean, today this is your top 5. Tomorrow it could be something else.
exactly. But yeah, I just love this band. I love this record. And yeah, symphonically, like they just have some really cool synth parts on there that, you know, like with string arrangements that are technically on the synths, but they did a lot of that writing in the record writing in the studio rather. And yeah, I just love this album. I think it's beautiful. I think it's really intense and brutal. And it's my number 1 for today.
All right. First number 1 of the day.
Emperor.
Awesome.
You guys know Emperor?
I know the
course.
name.
Okay. Yeah. You got to get in on it. I mean, it's like, it's pretty much just, yeah, it's straight up black metal. It's not heavy metal at all. But, you know, whoops.
Well,
Oops.
we'll just say overall, the overarching theme here is metal today.
Just metal. Yeah.
My number 1 pick.
Oh.
Also, reject the term heavy metal, but
Okay.
I think by anyone's standards can be considered a heavy metal band. Black Sabbath.
Oh, I knew it.
Obviously, yeah. I would say that.
See, I was
They
like,
fit the
I
mold.
can't choose Sabbath because I just know that's going to happen already.
And to pick one record, I gotta pick the first one.
Right
Paranoid.
on,
Black
dude. Fucking,
Sabbath. Black Sabbath by Black Sabbath.
yep.
Wait, Paranoid's not their first album?
No, that's their third.
Third?
I think,
Second. Is
Second.
Master of Reality second or third?
no, I think Master Reality's, oh no, is it 2 or 3?
Anyway, Black Sabbath is definitely the
Yeah,
first one.
that is the first one.
One of the
for sure.
first 3 Black Sabbath records, for sure.
Yeah, I mean, 1970, February of 1970, recorded in 1969. Starts off with that, Thunderstorm, which is so evil sounding and also one of only 2 overdubs on the whole record. The only other overdubs are the blatant Tony Iommi double solo stuff on NIB and Sleeping Villages. Recorded in 12 hours, all live. So they say.
Legend has
I
it.
have trouble believing Ozzy
Which one is
nailing
first?
every first take on their first record.
I
But
think it was before he was super fucked up, though.
yeah, but he was also a super amateur. Like,
I'm like, was it?
He was probably
Well-
driven back then.
yeah, Tony Iommi playing an upside down guitar
Yeah, what the
Or,
hell?
like,
No, never seen that shit
until he
before.
met he met a right hand guitar player who had a left handed guitar that was playing upside down. They traded. And then he started playing.
Like,
it
how do you
right-
just do that? That's so fucking insane. You're like, yeah, whatever.
Wait, I don't understand this. What does he play?
He's a left handed guitar player, and on the record, he's playing a right handed guitar upside down.
Think about that.
Okay. Kurt Cobain did that.
So did Jimi Hendrix, but then he just switched.
Huh.
Mm-hmm.
That
That is insane to me. That's insane
I think
to
it's
me.
wild. And
Yeah.
And was he missing a finger at this point? Or no? Do you know when he got the nub?
I think it was before that. What I do know is that he was working in a metal factory, a sheet
Mhm.
metal factory, which is something.
Yeah, he was all day just
And then
working with heavy metals.
Invented heavy metal music with this
Wow.
record.
Yeah, good one.
I think that's why it's safe to say they're a metal band.
It's safe.
Oh,
heavy.
heavy.
metal.
Very, very
Heavy.
safe. Heavy.
We're not talking aluminium if you're from England or aluminum if you're from the United States. That's a light metal. We're talking some heavy shit right now.
Heavy shit. Need cranes.
British steel.
Need some
We're
cranes.
talking about the British steel up
Yeah.
in here. Cool, man. Yeah.
Yeah.
Anything else on Sabbath?
I
mean,
could
I'm just
have
gonna
picked
say
any of those
duh.
first 6
like
records.
Sabbath, duh.
Ta.
Yeah. I feel like my whole list is duh, especially the top
What?
3,
I wouldn't say that.
in a good way.
Okay.
to my credit, it's
good
duh. But I mean, yeah,
Hell yeah.
Sabbath, Priest, Maiden.
Come on.
That's heavy metal. Like
Yeah.
that.
Truly. All right, last one.
All right, here we go. This is an album from 1990.
Okay.
I thought about saving this for a different thing, but this is one of my all-time favorite records. In fact, it's probably the first metal record I actually was ever really into. It's Danzig 2 Lucifuge.
For real?
Yeah, it's the best.
I was not expecting that to come out of your mouth at all.
It is.
Hell yeah.
You know this guy?
Yeah, right.
This is a plaster cast of Danzig's finger right there in that glass box.
Okay.
Big time fan.
Great. It's a good item to have.
Yeah, it is. Shout out to Dan Anderson once again.
If you're listening.
Yeah, this record it took Danzig the longest to record this record. This was recorded from 1989 to 1990. It took 11 months, 3 different studios. They really worked hard on trying to get the perfect sounds and tones for everything. And it really is, I mean, you could call this era, the first 3 Danzig records, more like leaning towards electric blues. And this is definitely the bluesiest of all the albums that he did. And a lot of that comes through songs like 777, which is, just acoustic guitar, vocals, and hi-hat accenting it. And then, it's got so many great hits like Long Way Back from Hell, Snakes of Christ, Devil's Plaything, ballads like Blood and Tears, which is kind of like a Roy Orbison inspired number. Yeah, I think, Killer Wolf, there's so much to it. And to me, it still remains one of my all-time favorite albums. And like I said, prior to actually ever getting deep into metal, Danzig was kind of my gateway, and I thought about whether this really falls in there, but when I was listening to the guitar tone, I feel like what Danzig was doing was unlike any other band during that time frame, from the late 80s into the early 90s. I don't think there was a single other metal or rock band that was similar to the style that was being played then. And to me, I think it just such a fucking banger, like start to finish.
It's funny because I think Danzig's kind of annoying a lot of times.
Yeah, I mean, if you can separate him from whatever. But I mean, some people have, like 2 of my favorite singers had debut albums in 1988, and also very controversial, you love them or you hate them, being Morrissey or Danzig. So
right, yeah.
I can understand why people can't stomach it. It's probably the same way I feel about Lemmy in Motorhead. I just
really
what?
Yeah, I mean, this is my hot take.
He bothers you?
He bothers me. That's why I've
What
never
the
been
fuck?
able to fully appreciate Motorhead.
Huh?
It just, I don't know.
Isn't that weird? How ears work?
Just having personal opinions
are the issue at hand. But
I don't know. I like how unique Danzig does his shit.
Respect.
Yeah. That's where I'm at.
Hey.
More love to Glenn.
Yeah. I'm glad that was your number 1. I was really not expecting that to come out of your mouth.
What were you thinking?
But I'm glad. I don't know what I was expecting, but I wasn't expecting Danzig, that's for sure. Hell yeah.
Well, yeah.
Wow, what a nice tasty clump of bands.
Yeah, I feel like we went modern.
We went really
old.
off topic. We went
really
all over the place.
We got controversial in there. Some hot
crossover.
takes.
That's a good
One band crossover.
Yeah.
Crossover.
Not record though.
Do you have any honorable mentions you want to bring up?
Honorable mentions?
Records that you love?
Bands that you love?
Besides the ones that I named?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, God. Well, let's see. Other bands that I was thinking about for this topic was for kind of newer shit. UFO Mommet. Do you guys know them? Italian band. They're a pretty heavy psych. I think they encapsulate like the whole genre and kind of created a lot of like the heavy psych stuff, but also doom. Foreign is another band I love. Cult Leader I've been listening to a lot. Some friends of mine called The Body that live in Portland. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like, again, like my choices just kind of change every day, but I love all kinds of metal, really.
Sweet.
Like,
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you have any honorable mentions? Ian?
Yeah, and I feel like all my honorable mentions are things that I did not consider that bands that I love that I don't consider heavy metal.
Sure. Okay.
Number one being Motorhead,
well, yeah.
who would probably be in my top 5 favorite bands. Period.
Ooh.
Overkill would, the first record's probably my favorite, but Overkill, it would have to be explained to me how it's not heavy metal, but I get it too.
Yeah.
But that record, just song after song of
It's a banger.
perfection. Yeah, true banger in the
The room is
truest-
split right now, but that's okay.
No, I mean, I'm not here to argue about Motorhead being a rock band, but or a heavy metal band or whatever. They're obviously a good band.
I mean,
Yeah.
Lemmy's whole thing was rock and roll, right? They're super amped up.
And I
rock and roll.
you know what? I respect them to a degree because Danzig's first choice for a drummer was Filthy Phil of Motorhead. So,
Yeah.
So you like the drumming at least.
so
Yeah.
I at least
Drumming on
respect
point.
Danzig's opinion
Wow.
about the band.
Oh, yeah.
Lemmy is so much cooler than Danzig. Scorpions, I also
He's dead. So let's just. I think Danzig's
coolness is
the
forever.
Cool,
I mean,
I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah, dude. The cool never dies.
Well, cool never goes out of style. That's for sure.
Yeah, ain't that the truth?
Hey, I like the Misfits. Love the Misfits.
That's my least favorite workings of
Right.
of Danzig. but
Scorpions, another band. Obviously, you brought up before.
particular album that you're thinking of?
Yeah, I was thinking more what is heavy metal to them. Again, the first 3 Scorpions records are my favorite 3, but Blackout.
Fuck yeah, Blackout. Yeah.
Mhm.
Blackout, it's a heavy metal record.
For
right?
sure.
Yeah.
Totally.
Absolutely.
Great memories listening to it on repeat with Amy K at Pizza Go Go.
Hell yeah.
It's a fun one all the way through. They're touching upon the cheese that they fully dive into, but
Touching upon the cheese. Great.
It's still very solid. Also, plenty of new wave of British heavy metal bands that I love. Records that I love. Angel Witch. That's a thing metal bands love to do, huh? With the song, the album, and the band name all being the same.
Yeah.
Black Sabbath, Iron Maiden,
Bad
Angel Witch,
Company
Angel
by
Witch,
Bad
Angel-
Company off of Bad Company.
Are you calling that heavy metal?
Yeah, that is a thing.
Witch Fiend, Give 'Em Hell. Tank, who fronted by Algae, who
Tank. I've never heard of this.
Oh yeah,
great
British
new
new
wave,
wave
yeah.
heavy metal, really good.
Okay.
first album, Filth Hounds of Hades, is great. That's the one produced by Fast Eddie Clarke from Motorhead. But my favorite of theirs is Power of the Hunter, their second
Cool.
record. And it's Algae, who played both with the Damned and the Saints.
Oh, that's cool.
Played on Machine Gun Etiquette, my favorite Damned record.
A lot of people's favorite Damned record.
Tank.
Tank. Listen to Tank.
Cool. Is that it for
I'll
you?
leave it at that. Yeah.
Okay.
I didn't know the honorable mentions was going to be a thing. I would have had more of a list prepared.
Well, we can come back to it.
Yeah, we can always come back.
That's okay.
For me, Dio's Holy Diver.
Fuck
Well,
yeah.
yeah,
Oh,
come
yeah.
on.
Yeah.
It's a good record.
It's
a
a
very
it's
good
a
record.
great record.
It's an amazing record.
It's like it might as well be a greatest hits
Staple.
record. It's
fucking
totally.
staple.
I don't have too many, but I did want to touch upon like Pentagram, First Days Here.
Mhm.
yeah.
I don't particularly like their albums that were released as
Their
a band,
actual albums.
but that particular record, I thought of their early work is really good.
I like
Maybe
the first
debatable
one,
on whether it's heavy metal or not, but
the first actual record. I would say is definitely heavy.
Oh,
metal,
yeah, I
but,
agree. For sure.
yeah. And then another one, which is also, it's great if you don't know it. Wicked Lady, 1968, England. It's one of the coolest sounding records. Really blown out fuzz guitar. It's not quite heavy metal,
Call
but
that
it's
one hard rock for
definite.
sure.
It's definitely a precursor
rock.
to
It's definitely
it.
heavy.
Yeah, it's heavy as fuck, and I love that. They're both the records, the Axemen Cometh and Psychotic Overkill, incredible records, and I just wanted to. I'm sure maybe you've heard of them, but if you haven't, I don't think you have to be a metal fan to really get into it. You know, I feel like it really crosses genres really well, or at least tastes in just rock in general. I think
It's
people
cool
would
music,
dig it.
yeah.
But yeah, off the top of my head, I think those are probably the only ones. I mean, Lucifer's Friend, but not really heavy metal.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, there's a ton of that stuff where I was just thinking about bands that don't quite
Lesser known
fit.
70s rock.
Yeah,
mean-
that's ultimately what it is. So, yeah, I guess that's
God,
it for
the
me.
list is endless.
It really, really
Truly,
is.
like actually, it is.
Well, this list is actually has an end to it. It's not.
You
endless.
got any
No.
other ones you want to tack on?
I mean, yeah, I could talk about metal bands forever, but like, okay, one other band that I'm obsessed with, Sumac. They are from Seattle or like some of the islands around Seattle. I think that one of them
Like a
lives in Bainbridge,
or-
yeah.
okay.
But Aaron Turner, this guy, he's just a total musical genius. I don't know if you guys have heard of Sumac, but I saw them play live in like, what year was that? 2006, kind of right in the beginning of like Blackwater. And it was just such a fucking crazy show. They opened for Boris and some crazy other band from Japan that I can't remember their name because I didn't really watch them. But yeah, I went in and I watched them play and I just had like, I feel, because I haven't really been into metal for that long. It's kind of like more of a psych person historically. But watching them play, I just remember like this feeling came over my body and I was like, fuck. Like, this is the music that I've been wanting to see. This is music that I want to play. Like, this fucking rules. And I just remember, like, walking out of that show, like, different. And after that, after seeing them live, I was like, yeah, metalhead. I'm totally hooked. I'm obsessed with this.
Yeah, you had
Bought
an
all the
epiphany.
records. Yeah, I bought all the records. I'm like, yeah, just like something happened to me that night watching them, specifically Aaron, perform and just his vocals, everything about it was just like, I was hypnotized big time.
That's very cool.
Yeah, I love that band so much.
Word, well, I'm gonna check that out.
Yeah.
That sounds
Yeah, we
like
gotta
a
make the
hell of a
playlist.
recommendation.
Gotta make the playlist.
Yes, we'll put them on the playlist for sure.
Yeah.
Well, cool. Senna, we play this game sometimes at the end of the episodes. I don't know if you've listened, but we play a game called Top 5, which is usually we'll
top
pick
5
something.
on top 5.
Exactly. So the idea is that Spotify has a top 5 most played songs by an artist. So if we have any crossover or if we can come to a consensus on a band that we will pick and then look up. So do you feel familiar enough with Priest per se, since that was the only crossover of this episode, to try to hazard a guess of what you think the most played 5 songs by Priest on Spotify is?
Probably not, but I'd be interested to hear what you guys think.
Okay.
Oh, you
Yeah.
gotta play though.
You just got to hazard a guess. That's all you got to do.
I don't really listen to Priest that much. I mean, obviously I
Would
do,
you
but
rather do
not.
Sabbath?
Yeah, we could do Sabbath.
Do you want to do Sabbath?
Okay, I probably can't do, but I think I can. I think
Well,
I
no,
can.
you guys do Priest because then I'll learn something.
I will hazard Sabbath. I'm
You're,
just not,
you're only going to learn what other people like.
Yeah.
This isn't a game of learning. It's a game of fun for.
Yeah, we're just
for
having
the-
fun with
for the
us.
three
So
of us.
Okay, but what are we doing? So we're just choosing.
yeah, so
we're
we're
guessing the 5 most popular songs on Spotify.
Yeah, most
Am I
played.
allowed to look?
No, absolutely not. Yeah, so let's get into it.
I have 6. It's definitely.
All right, we'll try to
It
get what you think the most.
If you got 6, I
popular
got 6
5.
too.
Okay, so okay, I have 6.
Okay, well, whatever your 6th one doesn't count. So make sure you put
Well,
it in the top
fuck.
5 order that you think is going to be the best.
Oh, they have. Okay, all right.
Okay,
all
so
right.
we have to rule one out.
We got to rule one out.
You
Yeah.
got to rule one out.
Oh, man. Okay, well, number 1, for sure, right? If we're talking about Sabbath, Iron Man has to be number 1.
I mean,
Played
there's
song
a
ever.
really good chance.
Because of
great
that
guess.
riff that literally everyone that's ever played guitar learns how to play. For sure.
Yeah.
So
It's like
Iron
smoke
Man.
on the water, then that, right?
Yeah, yes, yes. And that's the order. right?
Yeah. Well,
Well, no, you go through your whole
Okay,
5.
okay,
and then,
okay,
yeah.
okay. Mine 5 that are 6 is Iron Man and Children of the Grave, Evil Woman, because that song rules, War Pigs, Paranoid, and Sabbath Bloody Sabbath. It's
And
6.
So which one are you ruling out?
Okay, the one I'm ruling out for ones that are most played, Evil Woman probably isn't like one of their most popular songs, but it should be because it's fucking great. So I guess I'm going to rule that one out. So I have Iron Man, War Pigs, Paranoid, Children of the Grave, Sabbath Bloody Sabbath. Those are my picks.
I have a very similar list. Iron Man, Paranoid, Sweet Leaf.
Oh, you're right.
Changes.
Shoot. Oh, yeah, both of those are good.
Children of the Grave.
Okay.
Okay.
And Sabbath Bloody Sabbath, Evil Woman.
Oh,
were
your
my
changes,
6, 7.
you're probably right. Okay,
sure.
okay.
I came up with 5. It was hard, but I'm pretty much right there with you guys. I have Paranoid, Iron Man, NIB, War Pigs, Changes.
Oh, NIB.
And NIB is as good as any of those songs. But
Changes has to. Oh, what a nice song.
It is. The Charles Bradley version, have you heard that? The soul singer?
No.
Yeah. Oh, it's so
So
good.
good.
Yes, I have.
Yeah.
What a great version of that.
Yeah.
My goodness. R.I.P.
R.I.P.
Well, cool.
Okay, so
let's take a look here. I got it queued up here.
It's Iron Man has to be number 1. If it's not, I'm going to fucking lose it.
It's not number 1.
What?
Paranoid is.
Paranoid is.
Okay.
So
Okay.
Paranoid at number 1.
All right. Hey, we at least got, okay.
And that's only got 417 million listens.
Just a casual low amount of listens.
Just no big deal. With Iron Man with 247 million listens.
Okay, so number 2. That's fine.
And then number 3 with 139 million listens, War Pigs.
Ooh, I'm killing
Bigger
it.
than Sweet Leaf, huh?
Yep. And
I'm
then
surprised actually about that.
so number 4 with 72 million, we got Children of the Grave.
Oh my God.
And number 5 with 56 million, NIB.
Oh,
Really?
you were right.
So I actually
Wow.
ended up with 4 of the 5. Is that what you got too,
I got
Sonny?
4 of the 5 as well.
And I only got 3. I was so confident.
Oh my goodness.
I know. I'm kind of, yeah. I'm a little shocked.
I definitely hear Changes more on
So
classic rock
often,
radio.
but really
yeah.
Paranoid, that song plays all of the fucking time.
I think Paranoid and Iron Man as 1
Or
and 2.
those are
we were
those
all-
are the bangers.
Sure.
all
And when I was struggling to come up with a 5th one, War Pigs was the one where
War
I was like,
Pigs.
oh, of course, I hear that all the time. That's got to
Yeah, 'cause
be
that
on
song
there.
rips.
So
But Evil Woman should be on that list because honestly, it's like probably my favorite Sabbath song. It's gonna come out and say it.
I
which
mean,
is a cover.
A lot of people won't. It is.
It is.
should we
What?
talk? We could do a whole episode on just covers that you thought
That
were
you do.
that you
Yeah,
thought were real.
that's so good. Covers
Yeah.
that you didn't know are covers. Wait, by who?
I want to say Gun, but no, Crow from Minneapolis.
Wait, didn't this happen earlier when we were talking about a cover that I didn't know was a cover? Was that me? Did that
I don't know if
happen?
I don't-
Hold on.
Shoot, oh my god, I'm like 5 years in. I don't remember anything.
No, I don't remember either. But well, whatever. Their cover is sick, and I love that fucking song.
Hell yeah.
Karaoke all day on that.
Well, we did really good. I mean, the first one we did, we only got 3 of 5 the
What
first
was it?
time. That was the Ramones.
Ooh. Mm-hmm.
We're all pretty big Ramones fans, so it's hard to try to
Little
like
punishing.
limit stuff. Like
Yeah.
this was a little bit easier for me because I only know a handful of Sabbath songs off the top of my head to begin with.
NIB though, that's I would not have picked that one.
Danzig covered it on his cover album.
Oh yes, your favorite, your boy, your boy Danzig. Hey, well, we did pretty good.
Intro to Metal.
Yes.
Well, sweet. Sonny, thanks so much for being here. This
Yeah.
was actually a total
Yeah.
blast. I was expecting it to be a blast, but
Yay!
and I expected right. 'Cause
Gonna make a sick playlist. Hopefully, people hear some new stuff.
Yeah, tell us about the new
Heavy metal
Blackwater
metal.
Holy Light record.
Okay, so yeah, we tracked it in early December, with the same engineer that we had on the last album, Dylan White, and we had Liam from the band Mizmor that I was talking about producing. And
Nice.
I've never worked with a producer, and he's not really a producer either because he's never done that. But just kind of having someone else there, like another ear, that just kind of showed us some recording techniques that I was unfamiliar with was really cool. Just kind of helped us really capture some like heavy doom tones that we weren't really able to do on the previous album. So it's cool. It's weird. Like I feel like our sound is pretty all over the place in general. So on one hand, it definitely sounds like a Blackwater album, but on the other hand, it's like it sounds kind of evolved to me. We like kind of are doing some more, trying to do like some black metal riffs and got some double kick in there now.
So a little bit of a departure from the prior.
A little
record.
bit, but it's still us. Got shoegaze in there. We're just like we say we're like genre neutral because we just kind of dip into a lot of different sounds all the time. So I'm not sure when it's going to come out. Probably realistically around not until like August-ish, just because press houses are fucking backed up right now. Like they're all like 26 weeks out for pressing vinyl. So
And is that going to be on Easy Rider?
yeah,
Nice.
yeah. So this will be our third album.
Ride Easy? Is that what it is?
Riding Easy.
Riding
Easy
I
Records,
think
yeah.
there was a,
Excuse me.
Yeah, everyone does that. But it'll be our third album with them. And then who knows what the fuck's going to happen after that. So yeah, it's 7 songs. It's not a lot of songs, but it's around 40 minutes. So
Whoa,
a lot of
okay.
album.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's a
Yeah.
good amount of album. Absolutely.
yeah. So hopefully people like it. I don't know. Music's hard and weird and vulnerable, but we made it. So I guess we have to release it now. That's the unfortunate part.
Hey, the record's coming out.
Yeah.
That's kind of the approach you got to
And
take
sometimes
sometimes.
you like make something, you're like, well, I guess it's done.
Yeah,
world.
you could edit or
Shit.
redo over
Here
and
you
over
go.
again if you're left to your own devices, I'm sure.
But yeah,
Well, that's
yeah,
great.
it was
I
a fun
think-
one to make, and yeah, hopefully people like it and stuff. If they don't, that's okay.
I'm sure they will. Don't worry about that.
It won't affect me too much, but
Well, again, thanks a million for coming in and talking with us today.
Yeah, great
a lot
to
of
meet you.
fun.
yeah, so fun. Yeah, really good. I'm excited to hear and make the playlist. Now I'm just into the playlist. I'm like, let's make that list.
Hell yeah.
It's gonna be good.
All
The
right.
15 greatest.
Because I want to listen.
Heavy
I
metal
I
or
need a new playlist,
heavy
so
metal
this
songs.
is perfect. Yeah, yeah. The 15 not heavy metal but heavy metal songs.
Perfect. Yeah. So, all right. Well, we're going to get out of here and get to work on this playlist for you. So, thanks
Okay.
for listening and thanks for being here, Sonny.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? This is Houndy here. Now, a lot of you British steelheads probably already know about this, but there's this part in this song that's sort of like towards the end, and they're trying to simulate the sound of a big metal god stomping around, and they ended up using silverware trays from the kitchen. And so I thought, maybe I'll give that a shot here. Now, so I got my silverware tray here, which I haven't taken out in about 5 or 6 years. Maybe I should actually wash this. Do people wash the silverware tray? Anyway, so keep in mind the album was recorded at Ringo Starr's old house, so my silverware tray probably doesn't sound as good. But let's see what it sounds like. All right, here we go. All right, that sounds pretty good. Now keep in mind, there's no effects on the silver tray recording. Silverware tray, silver chair, no effects. I'm getting all screwed up here. But anyway, thanks for listening to the Top 5 podcast, and see you later.
This has been a Top 5 production produced by Kenton McDonald. Our theme song was by Ian Howe. Our logo artwork is from Andrew Colgan at Studio AYC. Edited by Kenton McDonald with editing assistance from Ian Howe. And a very big thank you to Andrew Bassett for today's outro music. And if you'd like to request a criteria, you can email us at podcast.topfive@gmail.com. Thanks for listening.